Hello everybody. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the Peanuts' slimmer, longer brother, the Tiny Toothpick. When we look at these knives from Case, there are certain knives that are iconic. You know, the Peanut, of course. That's an iconic knife from Case. That's one that people will recognize when they see it. The Stockman. The Stockman is an iconic knife from Case. The Trapper is an iconic knife from Case. Same thing with the Slimline Trapper. The Slimline Trapper is a very popular, iconic knife that we can't forget. The Sodbuster Jr. is a knife that we can't forget. But among all these other knives, one that you would have to have in the set would be the Tiny Toothpick. The Tiny Toothpick has been a very popular knife over the years, and I think that's because the overall look of the knife is very attractive. It seems like they are more often collected than carried because they are a pretty small knife. I do have the box for this one. You can see it was made 12/20 of 21. And also, you can see there it's a yellow synthetic smooth small Texas toothpick. And you'll be able to see there that this is in CV steel. So that's a plus. This had to be one of the last ones, from what I can tell, that Case had made with their CV steel. This one is special to me because this knife was a gift. My dad had got it for me on the Christmas of 22. And it was interesting because when he gave it to me on 12/20 of 22, and when I pulled out the box and looked at it, I saw that the knife had been made on 12/20 of 21. So that is interesting because the knife was exactly 1 year old. From the time it was made and packaged to the time that I took it out of the box. You can see I've got this one good and shiny. You can see me waving in the left bolster there. That classic Delrin looks so nice with those shiny bolsters. The Case badge there. There we can see the back spring. Stainless steel with the brass liners. Looks nice. And there's the pile side of the knife. Now, I have used this knife. I take care of it, but I have used it. It's not been one of my main carries, just because it's kind of small in my opinion. But I use it for this, that, and the other. I have used it for cutting apples and stuff like that. If I just go to eat an apple, sometimes I'll have this one in my pocket and I'll slice the apple up with it. And because of that, you can see that CV steel has taken a patina. It's a nice, even patina on this one. It's not very spotty or colorful, more of just like a nice, even gray color. How do y'all feel about these smaller collectible knives in the yellow Delrin with CV steel? I know it's popular in the bigger knives like a Trapper or Stockman, something somebody's going to use all the time. How you feel about it in these little toothpicks? Or do you use a toothpick all the time? Maybe it's your everyday carry. You can see on the back of the blade we have the number USA 310096. The 3 is the yellow handles, the 1 is the single blade, and then the 0096 refers to the Tiny Toothpick frame. Again, you'll see the CV on this blade because it was before Case switched over to their new CS steel. Also, it's going to have the old Tang stamp instead of the newer Tang etch. And you're going to have 9 dots, which again dates this knife to a 2021. It does have a good, strong spring on it. Snaps right into place. So that's good. And the blade's completely tight. It's put together really good. It's flawless, as far as I can tell. But yeah, this is a good knife. Let's do some quick comparisons. This knife, I'm not going to weigh it in this video, but the knife weighs 0.90 ounces. 0.90 ounces is what this knife comes in at. The handle is 3 inches when it's closed, and you're going to have around 2 inches of sharpened edge for cutting. That's how this is going to roughly work out. To compare it to a few other knives, we'll compare it to the Peanut. We got him down here. Compared to the Peanut, the Tiny Toothpick is going to be longer and slimmer. Longer and slimmer. And the Peanut's going to have half stops where the Tiny Toothpick won't. And the Peanut, this yellow one anyways, weighs 1.20 ounces, where the toothpick weighs 0.90, so the peanut's going to weigh a little more. But again, on the peanut, as we know, you're going to get 2 blades instead of just the single blade. Another knife that we might compare this to would be the 33 patterns, and we can compare either one. We can compare the Stockman version, or we can compare the penknife version of the 33. They're both going to have the same size blade, but both knives are going to be shorter and fatter than the Tiny Toothpick. The Eisenhower, again, I don't think it's a very practical carry knife, but it's a very cool collector's knife. Y'all comment how you feel about the Eisenhower down below. You can see the Eisenhower is going to have about the same length handle. I think the handle is a little longer on the Eisenhower than the toothpick, and it's going to have a shorter blade, but it is also a double-bladed penknife. Then lastly, the Coke bottle. They've got the same length handle just about, but the Coke bottle is going to be a double-bladed knife, and I think it's got a more usable blade for everyday use. So those are some common size comparisons of other popular sized knives. Now, let's compare a few other toothpicks. The first one I want to compare is this one here in green synthetic. Case used this green synthetic as a special back in the holiday season of 2023. And this one is a stainless steel knife here. But one thing I find interesting between these two is that this green one, as was common with a lot of these green knives the Case made, they didn't square them off as much as a lot of their other knives, so the edges were more square, and the knife itself was thicker. If you notice there, look how much thicker the bolster and the material is on the pile side of this knife than it is on the show side. Isn't that interesting? But because of that, this knife is a thicker, kind of a chubbier knife, where this yellow toothpick is a more of a slim knife all the way around, and it's more smoothed off, where this one is a little more square in the hand. They're both highly finished. They don't have any rough edges or nothing, but just the overall shape of the knife. This one's more rounded, this one's more squared. So that's very interesting, and this is a 2023. The other thing interesting that I want to say is I do have this mother of pearl toothpick. This is a 2004 model. And I noticed some distinct differences in this toothpick from these other ones. The first thing that I want to point out, and those of you out there who collect toothpicks, if you know the answer to this, I'd love to know it. If you notice, the mother of pearl toothpick has a longer blade than the yellow Delrin toothpick. And I know it's because of the age, is what I'm assuming. This being in 2004 has a longer blade than this 2021 on the top. And so my question to you all out there who collect these toothpicks, which year did Case change the blade shape? When did they start making a wider, shorter blade instead of a thinner, longer blade? Comment down below if you can. I'd love to know that. The other difference that I've noticed is the top bolster, where the blade pivots in and out. You can see the yellow one has a larger bolster than the mother of pearl knife does. So comment down below if you know when Case did the switch there. That's very interesting to me. I'd like to know. Again, this one's a 2004, and this is a 2021. So sometime between there, Case changed the shape of their main clip blade. The other knife we would need to compare this to would be the medium toothpick. It's hard to find a large toothpick these days. Case isn't making them at the current. But this is a medium toothpick. It's a little bit bigger than a full-size trapper, as you can see. So it's a large knife. But it's got the same overall shape, and that's why it's called a toothpick. But this yellow one is just a smaller version of the same style of knife. And these little ones are a whole lot more popular. A lot of people collect these little knives, and they're charming, I guess might be the right word. They're unique and a charming kind of knife. But I don't know a lot of people who carry them as an everyday knife. But comment down below, do you carry one of these tiny toothpicks as an everyday knife? Is it one of your favorite knives? Do you like it? Do you not like it? How do you feel about it in the yellow Delrin and the carbon steel? Or on a smaller knife like this, would you like a fancier model? Do you like it better than the peanut? I like the peanut a little better myself, but I like them both. What about you? Do you prefer the peanut over the Tiny Toothpick, or do you like the Tiny Toothpick more than the peanut? Let's remember that planning in February, starting the 9th through the 15th, we're going to do an experiment with the peanut, where that everybody carries a peanut, and they're going to carry it every day, with or without other knives in their pockets. You can carry as many knives as you want, but the rule for the experiment is you've got to carry the peanut, and whatever you need to cut, you need to use the peanut. In the instance where that you need to cut something and the peanut is unable to handle it because of its size, and when that happens, you can use whatever knife you need to do the cutting task, but you need to record what the peanut was unable to do for you that day. And at the end of the week, we'll put up a video talking about the experiment, and you can comment in the comments section all the things that you found that the peanut couldn't do that you needed it to do. All the things you carry a pocket knife for that the peanut couldn't accomplish. Comment that down below. It'll be very interesting, I think, because my assumption is that the peanut's going to do almost everything that anybody needs it to for a normal EDC task. It's not going to cut down a tree, butcher a hog, or make a bushcraft tent, but nevertheless, for an everyday carry knife, I think it'll accomplish most of what's needed. So y'all, you have a good day out there, and y'all keep your knives sharp. Have a good day. Bye-bye.